Hey YouTube, this is Faisha bringing you another Simply Lavish at Home video. In my last video, I showed you guys a couple of the projects that I'm doing for my balcony to make it my little outdoor oasis. So today I'm keeping you up to date with my latest creation, another dollar store find, how I took a few items from the dollar store and made this cute hanging chandelier for my balcony. So it was pretty much a consensus that I needed some more lighting out here. And of course, candles are the first thing to come to mind, and I'll still probably do as I continue to build on this. But I also wanted something a little bit different, a little bit creative, so I can share with you guys. So I came up with this hanging lantern. Now, initially I did want to use candles, but thought with them swaying in the wind like that, it may not be a good idea for candles. So wouldn't it be cool to have something that was either battery powered or in this case solar powered? So I remember that the Dollar Tree had these solar lights that they sell that might work well. So of course I started by heading out to my local Dollar Tree and purchasing these baskets that I had seen before. They come in different sizes and shapes. This one is I think actually the smallest of the collection. And I thought it would be the perfect size. Next, I found the solar lights. Like I said, initially I thought candles, but I couldn't find a tea light holder that had a lip that I can attach something to. And then I ran into these and thought they were perfect. I also got some wire that they sell in their hardware section and some ribbon. Now you see here that it's burlap ribbon. And I'll share with you in a little while why I decided to go with the sheer ribbon instead of the burlap ribbon. And then finally, some of the jute twine that they also carry in their hardware section to complete the project. So we'll start with the little solar light. Again, originally I thought I was going to use a candle, decided that wasn't a good idea, and then I ran into these solar lights, and it turns out the base just pops off with no problem. You just slide it right off. All the mechanism is in the top of the light, and so there was no problem there. And then I used the wire that I bought from the hardware section, and using that wire, I'm creating a kind of a cradle for the light to sit in. You can see it has that convenient lip, if you will, where the top meets up with that plastic where the light shines through. And I'm just using the wire and spinning it around so I can create a tight place for me to slip in the wire while it's hanging in the basket. So I just pulled out a length of wire, not really any rhyme or reason, just thought something that'll be long enough because I'm gonna need to attach that to the basket. And around the middle started twisting around the light. And here you see me twisting it on itself to lock that little loop that I created in place. And there you see I'm demonstrating that it will fit right in and hold on to it. So to prepare the basket, I just removed the handles and the label. And now I am putting in the wire. So I looped it through once on each side. I had already determined how low I wanted it to be and just straighten it out till I find its center. And then I'm gonna pull it taut so that it doesn't have any slack in the middle, and making sure that I found my center. And then it doesn't have to be perfect. It might be a little off. Because the weave of the basket isn't perfectly lined up, you'll just have to use your better judgment of where to place it. So now I'm winding the wire around itself to secure it and cutting it off with some wire snips. And then I'm coming with some needle nose pliers to make sure that the little sharp end is tucked in nicely. You'll also notice, because I just did the two ends, that the middle ring will kind of shift. So I'm gonna wire it to the opposite ends of the basket so that I won't get that tilt even when the light is in there. So I want those to stay secure. So again, I'm looping through the weave of the basket and winding the wire on itself. And the gauge is thin enough so where it's not super noticeable. Once everything gets completed, you won't really be able to see or won't notice too much of the wire. And when you're doing this, make sure that you're winding it really tight because you want it to be secure. All these little pieces are very light, so you don't have to worry too much about it, but you want them to be secure. You don't want the thing falling out at some point. And there I show you that it'll just sit and hang. So when I pulled off the end of the solar light, because usually you stake those into the ground, it left that little open edge. So I took some of the twine that I bought and some hot glue, and I'm just gonna wind that around just to kind of give the end a cap so it doesn't look quite so unfinished. And then you see I'm winding and adding glue as I go, making sure it sticks down and it's tight. And I'll go over it probably 2 or 3 times just to make sure it looks nice and finish it up. And then for the last step, I took sheer ribbon, and they sell this. You only need 1 spool of ribbon per basket. But originally I had done this with the burlap, and the light, even though they're functional, they're not very bright. So I end up having to take out the burlap ribbon and using a sheer ribbon. That way you can see the light a little better through the ribbon once it's hung. And then you'll see that I then later on decided it needed a little bit more, so I took the twine and capped the tops and the bottom using just some hot glue and wound it around. So once I was finished, I realized that this wouldn't just work outside if I wanted to hang it, or you can hang it anywhere you want. You can use any kind of ribbon, really, any color scheme that works for you. But it will also work on those tea light pedestal holders that they have also at the dollar store that you can place on a table and use it indoors or wherever else. But I would secure that with some floral tape, some transparent floral tape, just to make sure that doesn't pop off at some point if somebody were to knock it over. Here you can see the finished project. I decided that I wanted to do 3 instead of just 1. That's why I went with a smaller size basket and hung them right over my little patio table. In the earlier clip, you saw that I had suction cups from the Dollar Tree, but those didn't hold as well as I hoped, so I ended up not using those and using a nail that was actually already in the soffit to hang it from. And I also used the handle from one of the baskets to construct the kind of jig for. So with the basket, the lights, the wire, the ribbon, and the twine, it comes out to a project that's about $5 each basket. Now, if you really want to break it down further, because the twine and the wire, I was able to use between all 3 and still have a lot left over, the project breaks down to less than $5. So very affordable, and I thought kind of cute. But you really kind of get a gist of it when it is night. And you can see that the light that I was talking about a little earlier is not particularly bright. But you can't really tell from this picture, but it was still pretty light outside. It was dusk. So as it gets darker, the lights get brighter, and it worked out pretty well. So tell me what you think, guys. Love to hear your feedback. And a reminder, if you are gonna recreate any of the projects, follow me on Instagram. It's Simply Lavish Life. Post a picture and tag me in it. I really do want to see what you guys do if you recreate it, and this or any of my other projects on YouTube. And stay tuned for part 2 of a project that I did with this basket. As always, thank you so much for watching. Till next time, here's to living simply lavishly. Cheers.